How are you so calm?
I'm not. You didn't. You didn't see me in the meetings. I'm not that calm.
Welcome to Eminence Unfiltered Part 15. Today we have a very special guest with us, Dr. Eman Gomaa. Dr. Eman is a seasoned pharmacovigilance professional with extensive experience since 2012. She began her career in Cairo contributing to early Egyptian PV guidelines and later the Arab GVP implementation. Over the years, she held senior roles in various multinational pharma companies, including Gilead and Allergan. Iman has a strong network of decision makers across health authorities and has provided training on Arab GVP to multiple companies in Egypt. She currently leads the Middle East and Africa PV hub at AbbVie and is an active member of ISOP and ISOP Middle East chapter, serving as the country representative in the UAE. So let's welcome her together. How are you doing today, Doctor?
All good, dear. How are you?
I'm doing good too. Thank you very much for asking. And like we spoke about, that means what we actually do with the podcast, because I understand that you're very passionate about trainings and you've been training people around the globe and in GCC region as well. What we want to know is who is Dr. Eman Gomaa behind the facade? Why? Because our viewers and listeners, they want to learn from the journey of the leaders because this designation is not handed down to you. You earned it. So tell me more about you behind the professionalism.
First of all, thank you so much for these nice words. And professionally or personally, I'm the same person. Sometimes I like wear this mask of professionalism in the business settings, but otherwise, I'm all like into knowing people and connecting with them on the personal level. In brief, I'm an Egyptian woman. I started my career back in Cairo in 2012, and I'm a pharmacy graduate. Since year 2000, and of course, this wasn't my first career in the pharmaceutical field. I started first as in the sales and marketing. Then I had the opportunity to have a program and an MBA in the American University in Cairo. I graduated in 2010. So this like skilled me a lot better in the marketing field with the creation of the Egyptian PV Center in Egypt around years 2011, 2012, and the Egyptian pharmacovigilance guidelines being established. I started feeling very passionate about this field. It suits my personality a lot because it has some scientific aspects in it, and it's at the same time they have these communication skills, negotiation skills. When you react with the regulators, when you react with the or communicate with the patients and the HCPs, so I find like it is the optimum pharma career that I can find myself in.
Right, right. So I must say that means your experience in marketing actually made you wonderful at PV as well.
I like to think so because this transferable soft skills. It's like valid in every career.
Absolutely.
The teacher needs communication skills. The engineer needs communication skills. So it's very like elaborate even in our PV world.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I understand that means when you were doing marketing, after that you moved into PV and you really become passionate about this particular subject. But do you still look back at the time when you were doing marketing and always there was a different market as well apart from pharma?
It's completely different, but sometimes in the marketing you feel that you have like some expiry date, and then you can do it when you are young, when you are passionate, when you are have this like physical even activity.
Reaches a saturation point.
Exactly. And then you find another thing and you get interested in it, and it's never static. PV is always a dynamic field.
Evolving.
Every day, like another country is having new regulations, new updates, adopting these guidelines. So it's you are never bored in PV.
I totally agree on that. And I could see today in the conference as well, all the experts were really, really passionate about the subject. And I'm so looking forward for your session because I've heard so much about you from my team, from other team members, from the people that we've spoken with when we were doing the research, that how passionate you are about this subject. Tell me more about it because you were introduced to PV in 2011, like you said. So over the period of time, can you tell us more about the evolution of PV?
It's quite a journey, and it's still in the beginning, even after all these years. Because at the beginning, when you start instilling these concepts into the market, into the pharma companies, you have some resistance. People are not adapted to change quickly. So you need to give it like step by step, have this learning curve gradually, start with minimum requirements and then build on it. Because you cannot, for example, for a company that didn't have even the department before, to tell them that you need to have these risk management plans and PSURs and the safety system and the SOPs and follow them, it will never be accomplished. Exactly. So this approach also was taken by the Egyptian Pharmacovigilance Center when they started. And I remember the early days of trainings, like we have like 2 days training telling you what is an SOP, what is a detailed description of pharmacovigilance, which is the old name of the pharmacovigilance system master file, and just telling you what is the periodic safety report. And that's it. They cannot overwhelm you with this much information at the beginning. They give you the building blocks to establish your PV system. And then throughout the years, when the Arab GVP came into place and they had extensive workshops over like a period of, I think, 2 or 3 months,
Right.
that we went and have in details everything. So if I'm thinking now, if they have started with this detailed description and every requirement, I don't think any of the companies would have like compiled with the regulation.
I would totally agree. And I would say that means how those 90s kids, most of the times I see those Instagram reels where they're talking about that they have seen the generation of a floppy disk, a
Yes.
USB, and a cloud. And the same way we are talking about a Nokia 1100 to iPhone 15. So you have seen the entire evolution of PV when it started and conceptualized. That is amazing. That is really amazing. Now, tell us more about what makes Dr. Eman Dr. Eman.
It's multiple factors. I think the your personality at home, your uprising, the way your parents raised you, the way you interact with your struggles and challenges in life, everything, even like my communication with my daughter is impacted by the things that I learn from my professional setup. So it's like many factors, and you will not find even two persons are like identically the same. And this is the beauty of the human beings, because
Absolutely.
the richness and the colorful personality, it's really what gives an impact and value to this person you're like managing and dealing with on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I would totally agree on that. And I can tell that means your daughter is very lucky to have an amazing mother
Hope so.
because these values needs to be instilled by the parents in the end of the day. And this thought process is something that is going to make the difference in the future.
Yes, yes. And my daughter even like took whatever good traits that I have when I was a kid, and she like developed it into much more
Mold in her own way.
yes, exactly. And for her now, I'm like very typical, very traditional, very risk averse. She is like, while I was thinking of myself when I was in her age that I'm a risk taker, but she is taking it to another level.
That's really amazing. For that kind of freedom as well means I really want to thank you, and I urge every mother also to be very progressive about their daughters and accept the evolution and change, just like the PV evolution. So, Dr. Rahman, tell me about your hobbies and what you like, dislike.
Uh, I also have like many hobbies and very different than the PV and then the science field. So I like drawing and painting. And my daughter also took this talent and even like developed it more. She's now majoring in fine arts in the university. So I even when I was in the pharmacy school, I went and in the summer and took courses in the arts and crafts because I like this. I like the creativity part. I love reading books. I love watching movies, listening to music. So it's like a very artistic side, not fitting with this scientific profile.
But I would tell you something. I've interviewed so many leaders, and everyone, a very successful leader or the best loved leaders who sit in this chair, one thing is common that it's not only about the professionalism, how they maintain the work and life balance and make time for their hobbies. And usually those hobbies are very artistic in nature. So I think somehow art kind of bring you bring the best out of you in the professionalism life as well, isn't it?
And the balance.
And the
It,
balance
yes, because the humanity part, it's all this
doesn't die
the
down.
poetry, the novels, the creation, the creative process. It gives you some creativity. Maybe our field is not like it's a compliance like a department by nature, but it gives you some, like if you have an innovative process, if you have a way to revolutionize the process and eliminate the roadblocks in the way, so it gives this creativity sometimes impacting the PV.
Absolutely, because even if it is incidental reporting, but in the end, what are we trying to do is to create drugs which are safe and efficacious, right? So
Yes.
the artistic part, when which connects you to the humanity, in the end of the day, makes you better at your job,
Yes.
right? That's a very thought-provoking idea, and I really think that if everyone thinks like that, I don't even think that we will need several guidelines to tell us what to do.
The guidelines are important, we cannot say otherwise, but it's like how you implement them, how you be more efficient and more smart, and don't exert much effort or time in something that you can automate, for example, like we heard today, the automation. It's all coming with thinking outside of the box, and this is what creativity is all about.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned that you love reading books.
Yeah.
So what kind of books you like usually?
It might be lame, but I like novels. I don't like read abstract sciences. I'm not that passionate about it. But I even like novels when it talks and gives you the information or the knowledge in the context of the human relationships and the setup of this novel. So one author I really am fond of her writings is a Chinese American author. She's called Lisa C, and yes, she wrote many novels like focusing on the Far Eastern cultures. And when you see and read about them and see how much they were rich and complex and full of emotions and considerations and traditions, it's very enriching. So you gain the knowledge about this that you can might have it from when you read a history book, but I cannot handle a history book, so I will take the information and the knowledge and the culture taste from the novels.
Absolutely. So in a way that even in your books you prefer art.
Yes, yes, it's obvious.
So I'm also one of those people who prefer to read books a lot. Tell me about your conversation with the books. Have you ever seen a movie that has come from a book and become a movie?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Um, so the unlike the popular opinion that people says that the books are more joyful than the movies, but the movies gives you the element of imagination and to visualize what the books, yes, although they never can elaborate or contain all the details that are mentioned in the book, but this way of handling the story, it gives me some perspective. So I really love when I see a movie to go and read the book back if it is based on a book. And I usually feel more and have more insights and understanding when I read the book, but I do not like hate the movie because the book is better. I actually love both.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dr. Ramona, if I have to come back to the topic of pharmacovigilance or pharma, let me ask you this question now. A lot of people might, when they know about the hobbies of the leaders, so they try to understand and adapt that kind of lifestyle. And like you said, that your daughter is molding your values in her own fashion, and that helps her evolve better. In the same way, means we always recommend our listeners and viewers to mold the learnings in their own fashion and just means style it in their own way and wear it like an ornament. At the same time, I just wanted to understand uh, your journey in pharmacovigilance. I understand the evolution of pharmacovigilance. I understand your entry in pharma in 2011. uh, how easy or difficult it was it for you to reach where you are at this time?
You know this scene from the Pursuit of Happiness movie, Will Smith, when he was like offered the job, and then his manager asked him, "Was it easy as it looked?" And then he just, with tears in his eyes, and he said, "No, it wasn't, sir." It's never easy.
I just got goosebumps. I
Because
literally got
this scene
goosebumps.
is very, and this movie and this
Very
like
touching.
book is very it has a touch on my heart, and I really, it's one of my favorites, like either the movie or the story of Chris Gardner and the challenges that he passed through. So it's, you will never find a leader that had an easy journey. It's not disqualifying him as a leader. It's usually challenging, like being introduced to a new field when I was 35 when this started. So it's considerably
Some
like
people think it's
older
late.
age.
Some
Yes,
people
yes,
think it's
that to
late.
shift career. So the situation was, and I started in a local company in Egypt, in Cairo. So it wasn't like one of the multinationals or anything, but I started from scratch. I started building the department from nowhere. They gave us a room, and this is the department, and then build it.
Wow.
So this, I saw that although it was very stressful and lot of struggles I faced with even like spreading the awareness inside the company that this is a department that will do so and so, and then you need to comply with these and these regulations, etc. It was never easy, but this gives you depth and like experience when you are moving, which is like the normal sometimes move for PB professionals to move into a multinational, because in the multinational companies sometimes some of the PV tasks are handled by the global team. So you take it like the second step. You didn't start it from the beginning. But because I did it when I worked in a local company, I started from the beginning. So I understand the full process. I understand the value or the concepts, or why there is these periodic safety update reports even need to have harmonized dates and need to be submitted to the health authorities at the same time from the multiple MAHs and the multiple products. Some people up till now, when I meet them and discuss with them, they don't understand the essence because they didn't begin it from scratch. Yeah.
Right. So, in a nutshell, if I have to just kind of summarize from your conversation, uh, taking chances, first of all, and second, not to be afraid of starting from the scratch, and third, at any given time, do not give up on training yourself or upskilling yourself. You did your MBA at a point of time, but a lot of people think that I'm already settled in this job. I don't want to move further in something else. So I think that these three trades played a very vital role in your leadership skills today.
Be open to the opportunities, be open to any potential step. When I was applying for this MBA, and by the way, it was a fellowship, so I didn't pay any like dollar in it. It was and there was like a pool of maybe 3,000 applicants, and they selected only 20. And so I decided that I need to prove to myself that I can have this. And at this time I didn't know what this will open careers, or doors in my career, but I thought that it's never too late to study anything. So it's a good program, everybody is talking about it. Maybe by this time now it's like many like institutions and schools are offering it, but at that time in 2007 in Egypt there was only the American University in Cairo that is offering this 2 years program. So I took the chance and then started to think, what will I do with it? So it's always take the chances, always have this self awareness, that if you have an opportunity, don't say that, okay, I can do it like very easy, because this is, it will reflect also wrong self awareness. But at the same time, I have the potential to start and then learn from there. So it's always knock at the doors, and you will not know which one will open, but
It's
eventually one
not
will open.
about having a pretty picture, it's about making it pretty with efforts.
Yes, yes.
This is so inspiring.
Thank you.
And I'm so glad. Now I know what Rushali has been talking about. You have to interview Dr. Iman, because this is really changing my perspective on a lot of things. Sometimes, we reach a particular phase where you feel like that, okay, I just can't move forward from here. But now, every time, this podcast is going to stay in my added list. Every time I'm feeling low, I'm definitely going to listen to this part over and over, because this is really, really
I'm really
inspiring.
humbled that I'm this inspiration.
That's actually really very gentle and very
Thank you so
valuable of
much.
you. That means you are thinking that way. But thank you very much for sharing this with me.
You're welcome.
Okay. About the leadership advice that I need from you is for our listeners and our viewers. Um, Anything that you would want to tell them they should be doing now, this is especially for the people who are aspiring leaders and yet stepping into the leadership roles, because in our beginning time we all make some mistakes and try to fix things with time and become better at it. Any advice that you can give them to get into a leadership role little more smoothly?
What I can think of, because like leadership is a big science, and many trainings and many sessions and workshops are evolving about this aspect. So it's like a science. But what I can summarize it, or the essence as well, you are leading who? You are leading people, other human beings. So don't lose the personal relationship with these human beings. Everyone can be influenced, everyone can be given like a good role model, can be coached when you reach to his heart and know how to deal with him. So we had, for example, one of the trainings, sorry, one of the trainings that it's called insight training, and this insight training, it gives you the energies that you use in the workspace. And it's when it gives me like I'm like red and green, for example. Red, you, this is the bossy, the
Mhm.
need,
So that's kind of personality test.
yes, yes, exactly. And then the green is the like the someone who needs people to be happy and always helpful. They tell us that it's not to understand yourself, it is to understand the other person you are dealing with. When you know his energies and what how he is dealing or leading,
Strengths, the
so you know
weaknesses.
how to address him. So it's this little insight, it was like an aha moment for me, because I knew myself, but I need to know the person I'm dealing with. Either he is my subordinate or one of my team or a peer or a manager or the CEO. When you understand how to deal with him, it's very easy to click.
So I know about the test, but I really like the way you think that if we put it to the people who are reporting to us, in the end of the day, that kind of solves half the job. Rather than taking months to understand a person, that maybe this kind of test, aptitude test, can in the end of the day solve our job.
And it's usually administered like they give you the questionnaire, and then you and your team have the workshop together. So you understand each other's energy levels and what are the energies that you are leading with in the work. And sometimes it's different than the personal life, but what we are working in is the work setting. So it's not like an individual exercise or personality test that you do and get your results, but it gives you the context that all the team knows each other better and know how to deal with each other.
Before I ask you the last question for the audience, I do have a question which is for me. Um, Tell me something. I'm curious to know. PV is such a stressful job. Sometimes there is so much requirement in terms of putting the energy, work, and stress. How are you so calm?
I'm not. You didn't. You didn't see me in the meetings. I'm not that calm. But also the basic concept of handling everything. I was just talking to the team that in the Middle East and Africa PV Hub, we are handling 66 countries. 45 of them are PV regulated, have PV regulations, clinical trial regulations, medical device regulations, and we are managing this with only a team of 14 people plus myself. So it's you need to categorize the jobs or the tasks that you need to do, what is urgent but maybe not important, what is urgent and important, and then start with the urgent and important. So it's you cannot be I don't have like 5 p.m. I finish my work and then I close my laptop. It's never. You will always have something to do. But unless you like prioritize what is urgent and maintain the work life balance, you will never leave the laptop or the office. And yes, yes, and of course it's I cannot have achieved any of these things without my team, because I have personally a very strong team in multiple areas and countries and multiple personalities even, and this gives us richness. There is the calm one and there is the one that is active and hyper and talkative and always innovative with ideas, and there is the very meticulous one who can do a lot of trackers and Excel sheets, and you can rely on, because I'm bad at Excel, so I have this.
All
So
different shapes of gems, but still gems.
exactly, and then you exchange these benefits as a team.
Wow, thank you. So the last question that I have for you, Dr. Eman, is about the students who listen to this podcast and view it. They are yet to start their career, and a lot of them want to step into the pharmaceutical and healthcare industry. So, any advice that you have for those students who want to step into this world?
In pharmacy in general, or in PV
In
in
pharma, in
specific?
PV, in healthcare. So these are most of the students who are listening to this podcast are from the background where they are from the pharma colleges, universities, or learning medicine, or scientist, or chemist. So when they are stepping into pharmaceutical industry, so any advice that you have for them for kickstarting their career?
I can only say or advise them that healthcare is a noble mission. And we cannot all be business people and gaming people and influencers and bloggers. That there will always be a need for a healthcare professional, for a pharmacist, to help the humankind. And with all these innovations and the AI and the automation and everything, there would still be the human like factor that's very important. So, and this is what I'm telling my daughter as well, when I'm like giving her some ideas if she would pursue in the previous year, if she would pursue a medical degree or enter the medical field. The human nature will always look for innovation, but at the end there is a person who needs to decide and advise.
Humanity first.
Yes, exactly. So this would be my like advice to them. Enter the career, but you will never know how this career would be like when you finish the school. So if for now, after 4 years, maybe many jobs will be created, and we don't hear about it now. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rahman. I'm so glad that I interviewed you. And thank you very much for sharing so many valuable insights with us. So, this was Dr. Eman Gomaa with us, who shared a lot of insights on the evolution of PV, her personal life, and her leadership role as well. I'm sure there is a lot to learn. You have more questions for Dr. Eman, I please request you to mention in the comments below. We will see you in the next episode. Thank you.